Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for the 83rd
serial
episode of the Drunk
Doctor Who
podcast, wherein we discuss the
Android Invasion,
83rd
serial of Doctor Who. As a note, you can see we are not in our normal location. We are on location in Las Vegas. Look,
mountains.
No, they're getting all the. You can't show all that.
I can't show the mountains.
No, the reflection stuff. All right. All right. Anyway.
He thinks the CIA is going to come through our door.
No. Anyway, we are on location in Las Vegas, Nevada. We came here for a convention and decided to do our first on-location Drunk Doctor Who. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have the wherewithal or the money. Wherewithal.
That's 3 words?
It's 1 word. Wherewithal.
Those are 3 words. Wherewithal.
And sailboat used to be 2 words. Now it's 1. Wherewithal is 1 word. Inasmuch is 1 word. Right. Anyway.
Is it hyphenated or?
No. It's 1 word. Alright. So we didn't have the wherewithal or the money to set up a nice exotic location. So we're filming from our hotel room. So there you go. Anyway, let's see. We are staying at a nice hotel on the Strip. We'll not mention the name.
Which hotel?
We're not mentioning the name. Undisclosed hotel. But it's nice and it's fun. Anyway, we'll hopefully stay here again.
You sound like a really paranoid person.
No.
Because it sounds like you're trying to protect our location rather than like a branding thing. You're doing a branding thing.
No. Anyway.
Or you're protecting the branding of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to come back here someday.
But it sounds like you think that the government's watching you.
No. I would like to come back here someday. I don't want to be kicked out for filming in the hotel. All right,
We had permission to film in the room.
We do, as long as we do not mention the hotel. Because Drunk Doctor Who is not something anybody would ever want to be associated with. We are the least watched show on the internet.
I don't even want to be associated. Do you ever look back at podcasts and wish you could, I wish I hadn't said that or done that? That's rough.
No, I don't even watch it. No, I take it back, I do. All right, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Captain Morgan
rum
sliced
and Coke.
apple. It's rum?
Yeah, it's rum and Coke. And I am drinking Tito's vodka.
Just straight.
No, I have it on the rocks.
I mean,
it's not neat, but technically, it's straight.
Vodka seltzer.
But actually, this section was mostly water because I dumped the ice in, but a lot of it melted. So it's mostly ice water and a little bit of vodka, this particular drink.
We're completely sober.
No.
I think you're sober.
I'm tipsy, I'm soberish, you're not.
I think you need to catch up.
Ketchup. I want fries now. Alright. Anyway,
this is your second time in Vegas this year.
Yeah. We were here earlier in Vegas, and we stayed at a different hotel resort.
Did you do any gambling this weekend?
You know I did gambling.
Did you win anything?
No, I put $20 in a slot machine, I lost it. You put $20 in a slot machine, you got $10 back. You have 2 red chips you can't find.
When was that?
That was last
haven't
night.
exactly been sober.
Yeah, okay, anyway. That was last night. Alright, anyway. So our first on-location podcast. I guess if we ever get any Patreon support, we could actually afford to do like the super. I was thinking about like renting out one of the spots on the Las Vegas Eye, and just going around with the cool stuff in the background when we did this, but that would have been prohibitively expensive.
Are we allowed to say the name of the eye? Did we call and ask for permission?
No, it's the Las Vegas Eye, like the London Eye. I think it's called the High Roller here.
Oh,
yeah, it's actually a cool name for Vegas.
Does not look like an eyeball.
But the London Eye is called the London Eye, even though it doesn't look like an eyeball. All right. Anyway.
It's not 1984.
True. Long story. Okay, so I brought the tripod here. The tripod got broken in transit.
Or I broke it. We don't know.
It's actually being held. It's jury rigged. It's being held together with one of the masks. Yeah, the personal protection masks tied together to hold it. So hopefully for next week I'll have a new tripod. And I think I've got it so it's not going to fall, but if it suddenly falls forward, our apologies. We'll keep rolling. We'll fix it.
You can watch our feet while
In as much as
I'll
possible.
turn it into an audio podcast.
My bare feet, which Twitch doesn't like.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, not allowed on Twitch. Anyway.
I don't think it'll be allowed on YouTube much longer. The way they're
Yeah.
cracking down on all their content creators.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're still on YouTube. But
Thank
the only
you
reason
for
we're
hosting
on,
us, YouTube. We love you.
Yeah, the only reason we're on YouTube still is nobody watches us, so they don't care.
We're talking about how the podcast is a yellow bordered card in Commander. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
strictly
Magic.
legal, but like it's casual enough that they, no one's really gonna call you out on it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like the
I don't
very
really
small business that ignores certain things because
Yeah.
it can, because nobody pays attention because it's so small.
Or like the Chinese knockoff.
Exactly. All right.
Or printing like Disney Frozen shirts, and Disney's like, I don't even know their address. I don't want to.
All right. So anyway, hopefully we will do this again in the future. Maybe when we have a little more notoriety and patronage, and we will go to other fun, exotic locations.
Do you say patronage or patronage?
Patronage.
Patriarchy or patriarchy?
No. Patronage. That means supporters. That
Yeah,
means
I'm just saying. Some people say patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
No. Okay. Patronizing is to support someone. Patronizing is to talk down to someone. They are two completely
like
different
Europeans
words.
say Patreon and Patreon. It's an accent thing.
I don't know. I don't listen.
Thank you for your
to them very
patronage.
often.
It's not patronizing, it's patronage. They pronounce it like patronizing.
We're American. Patronage. All right. Anyway, stop getting us off subject.
How do you say aluminum?
I did not bring the backup battery, so we
Oh yeah,
actually
this
better
is a
get
short
into
one.
this.
We don't have the podcast,
If we don't have the
serial notes.
Yeah, we don't have
binder.
the serial notes. I don't have my binder.
I
but,
fell asleep, so I don't have a lot of physical notes
Yeah,
either.
I'm going to hopefully remember everything in my head in as much as possible. If I'm wrong, my apologies.
So I'm going to ask you as many questions as possible.
You
so
can't.
have
You actually fell
to
asleep.
delve into depths
I told you
of
not to keep the lights off. All right.
It made for a much better cinematic experience, though.
That was true because some of the lights glared off the TV. The way
Very
they're placed.
immersive.
Yeah.
Just like why we can't keep the window open, because it's very glary.
Right. Very glary from the lights.
We wanted to show you the view of the lights in the mountain range, but
He
it's
wanted
just
to show you the view of the mountain range. All right.
all you can see is our hotel room.
Because it glares off, and we can't do that. Anyway,
Well, it would be cool if we filmed it from the giant wall mirror, and then you just have like this infinite reflection.
no, there's no space.
We could fit.
No.
Wouldn't that be cool? It'd be like a Doctor Who thing. There's like an infinite amount of us, and it'd be like a podcast Inception.
Okay.
You should stick to.
Okay. I can see a 3-minute test of that. I can't see an hour of that. Drive people nuts. All right. All right. Anyway, so the Android invasion. All right. This is the
What's that?
beginning of Philip Hinchcliffe's, I believe is his name. He was the showrunner. And it's the beginning of his series of serials that are homages to the 40s, 50s, 60s Hammer films.
So are the showrunners also the script writers?
In some cases, but not in all cases. In a lot of cases, they will kind of revise the script a little. They'll massage it to suit their purposes.
Massage, like the Santaran's Control. who has the organic ships? Is that the Santarans?
It's the Zygons.
Zygons, like the Zygon ships, and they massage the controls.
Speaking of which,
Gross episode.
in this, there's a control panel that looks like it was stripped of all the Zygon stuff and used for our bad guys, the
whole
Kralls.
spaceship looks like it's the same spaceship, and they just tore off all the like,
Organic.
sinewy,
Well, I
veiny
mean, if you've
muscle.
got something, reuse it, you know?
I thought the town looked familiar, too. I feel like they've used the town before.
You thought they used the town of the Daemons, but...
Maybe. I don't know
no,
where
but
it was.
that town had a green and different style houses.
Maybe it was a different part of the town.
No, there was very little of that town. There was like 2 streets and a dead horse.
The town square definitely looked familiar. I don't know what episode it might have been in. Maybe it wasn't in any. Maybe I'm making it up. Maybe
Alright.
I've been there.
Okay, so anyway, the Doctor and Sarah... so this is the beginning of the homage to the Hammer films. This one is very much the Body Snatchers. Is what it's an homage to.
Great
And
movie.
Yeah, great movie.
The one with
Kiefer Sutherland is the one you're talking about. This would have been an homage to the Hammer version, which is the original in black and white. The Kiefer Sutherland version did not come out until after the serial. Anyway, so the next serial, The Brain of Morbius, is very much a Frankenstein homage. And we get this several serials that are like this.
Bless you.
Ooh. Allergies are crazy here in Vegas.
Allergies are alive.
All right.
It's the dry atmosphere. It's pollen, wind, altitude
It's a
change.
bit of a
really.
dust.
I get like altitude sinuses if I go up or down in altitude.
All right. So anyway,
Which I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe I made it up. But it feels like when I change altitudes, my sinuses kick in. But maybe it's just the environment.
yeah. Oh, so funny thing, we got to the hotel and we asked for a DVD player and they didn't have a DVD player. So we ran to Best Buy today and bought a DVD player with an HDMI cable to plug into the TV so we could watch the DVD that I brought.
Are we allowed to say Best Buy?
We didn't say Best Buy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if this.
We ran to generic electronics
There you
store.
go.
Alright.
Big box store.
Yeah, big box store. All right. Anyway.
I like when they make up names. They're kind of reminiscent of the actual brand name,
Yeah. Circuit Village.
like Chuka-Cola or.
Alright, it was funny. So we run over there in a taxi, and then we come back, and the taxi waited for us. And the taxi fare cost as much as the DVD player did.
Almost. Actually, exactly. Minus the HDMI.
Yeah,
We
right
also
about,
purchased
yeah.
an HDMI cable.
Right, got an 8-foot HDMI cable, and we turned out we needed it. So yeah.
Well, not if you use that plug.
But no, it really was necessary for that setup. Anyway,
No,
you can't see what I'm
there,
pointing at.
4-foot
The DVD
HDMI.
player's on the ground.
I'll show you later.
Yeah, no, just showing you back. This is the only view, and no more opening the curtains. All right.
I didn't open that good.
Yeah, you tried to open the curtains.
When?
12 minutes ago.
Sorry.
All right.
Very glaring.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure exactly how accurate that time count is, but I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to double check. And if I'm at 12 minutes, I'm going to like, ooh, yeah.
Security's gonna break through our window at any moment.
No. Anyway.
That's illegal.
I made a promise. All right. Okay. So anyway, in the serial, the Doctor and Sarah Jane materialize in the TARDIS on Earth. And Sarah Jane's like, ooh, that fresh after rain smell. And the Doctor's like,
As in rained and.
it hasn't rained in a week.
Yeah.
And then
Dry.
and she's like, well, are you sure this is Earth? And he pulls down a tree branch. Says, yeah, oak trees. The Earth is the only planet with oak trees in the galaxy. So unless they've been exported, it's Earth. So they go into, what's the name of the village? Somerset? Or no, not Somerset.
Crawl plan.
No. Krall's the enemy.
XK5.
All
I
right.
don't know the name of the building.
All right. Some more information you need while I
The
look that
thing-
up. This is 4
I
episodes.
can't look it up. I didn't write it down.
All right, 4 episodes running from November 22nd to December 13th of 1975. Our companions are Sarah Jane Smith,
Harry
Benton,
Sullivan.
and Harry Sullivan. Awesome, Dr. Harry Sullivan.
The
And
Brigadier was on vacation or something.
the Brigadier was in Geneva
Or he was
at a
off
big unit conference.
making
Yeah.
his daughter or something.
That's later, actually.
Huh.
He doesn't
Oh, it
marry
shows
his
that?
childhood sweetheart until later.
Ah.
Yeah. Let's see. So he's off in Geneva. So we get another gentleman, Colonel Faraday. I remember that.
He's been to the show before, or at least mentioned, I think. I don't think we've ever seen Colonel Faraday. I think it mentioned that was the Brigadier's boss. a couple
No.
of times.
He. I do not know British hierarchy, but I believe Brigadier is above a colonel. I'm not 100% sure.
The name Faraday sounds familiar. I think he's been mentioned.
Well, there's the Faraday machine.
That's the.
It's a science thing, yeah. All right. So anyway, like I said, 4 episodes. So the Sarah Jane and the Doctor. Oh, Devonsham.
What?
Devonsham. That's the name of the village.
Who's Ham?
Devonsham. That's how they pronounce it. All right. So they show up, and they walk out of the TARDIS and they're walking around, and she sees somebody, and it's these people in spacesuits essentially.
My deep pops.
Okay.
I'm getting old.
All right. So it's these people.
I think you're in better shape than I am.
I doubt that, but okay. I mean, I'm twice your age, literally.
I'm in bad shape for 26.
Okay,
You're not twice my
I'm
age.
more than twice your age. I'm 53. Twice your age is 52 plus 1.
Yeah.
All right.
So for long.
Huh?
I'll catch up.
You won't quite catch up.
I mean, fractionally, I'll catch up.
Fractionally, the gap will lessen.
I'll go from half to third to
eventually.
3/4.
No. Anyway. So they're in Devon. Okay. So they see these people in spacesuits, and the doctor's like, "Hey, can you tell us where we are?" And the people in spacesuits shoot at them, very much.
Out of their fingertips.
Right. The fingertips fall out, and they shoot at them, very much Auton style.
Autons, it's all 4 fingers that come out. This one is just the index.
But it's very Auton style.
Yeah.
So you're like, ooh, Autons. Okay. Then the Doctor and Sarah Jane run away. Sarah Jane twists her ankle because she's wearing 2-inch sole heels. Just don't wear heels if you're going to be adventuring, ladies. It's just you're going to twist your ankle.
I thought they were flats.
No, they looked about this tall on the back side because
Not that
Sarah
tall.
Jane, Elizabeth Sladen was short.
This tall.
No.
Maybe 1 inch.
No, Elizabeth Sladen
But
was short.
My heels are also
And
1 inch.
Tom
like
Baker
boots.
was very tall.
He is tall.
Yeah.
He could hardly fit in that
Well,
big
true
piece
is, he's
of
still alive.
black hole spaceship. Did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
notice that?
Yeah.
They didn't film his feet while his head was...
Exactly.
Like you see it
stuck
opening
out.
and
All right.
then... That's
So anyway, the Doctor and Sarah Jane run away. Sarah Jane, the Doctor gets her to... Wait. They run into town. She recognizes Devon Sim.
the mayor.
Well, first of all, she recognizes Devon Sim. The town.
The town.
Because she'd been there 2 years earlier on assignment for an astronaut who disappeared. Now, the funny part is this is Tom Baker's, what, 3rd or 4th season? No,
Third.
second season. And his second season, and she was with the 3rd Doctor for a season.
Mm-hmm.
So the seasons are not quite running a year. They're running maybe 9 months because it's the only way she could have been in there 2 years earlier and still been traveling with the Doctor all that time.
Well, we don't see all of the adventures they go on. And maybe there's a gap where he was doing something and she went on.
That is
forward.
technically true, yes. And there, in the modern days, there are big, giant gaps. But yeah, there may have been between adventures, except for the last season with Tom Baker, which was boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
I love that one scene with it wasn't Troughton. He went to get that blue sapphire. Which Doctor was that?
3rd Doctor.
Yeah,
Pertwee.
Yeah. Pertwee went to get that sapphire, and he didn't have his companion with him. He's just miserable.
Yeah, he's getting shot at. It's bad. Okay, no. Oh, so
Pertwee.
they're running away and stuff. They find the village. Oh, wait, no, they don't find the village yet. They run away.
Did they just call him Pert when he's not having fun?
I don't know. All right, so they run away. She gets up a tree because the Doctor pushes her up there. He goes and he hides in the water. Smart move because they're chasing them with dogs.
He had to jump in the water because the TARDIS had disappeared because of its defense mechanism. Because she put the key in the TARDIS and then got distracted, and the key being in the TARDIS disappeared, and it's explained later on.
Okay, we're jumping this up. We're seriously jumping this up. First, they see the guy run off the cliff.
Yes.
Okay,
Then
so
they go to the
literally
town.
at the very beginning, there's this android guy running and twitching and running and twitching and running and twitching.
This serial was very fast. At least the first episode was very fast paced. I'm trying to take notes and watch and make a drink and take notes and watch.
Anyway, so this android guy literally just runs off a cliff. The Doctor and Sarah Jane had been walking around. Sarah Jane almost fell off the cliff. She falls down an incline, he picks her up. Huh?
Does it ever explain why he runs off the cliff?
I think his mechanism was
twitching.
faulty. Yeah, really twitching. He runs off the cliff. They try to stop him, and he dies. Well, he's deactivated. They don't know he's an android. But they go down and they check his wallet. And they find all the coins are brand new and shiny and of the same year.
It's pocket.
And the doctor's like, well, what are the odds of all the coins being of the same year? This is infinitesimal.
I only carry change when they're coins of all the same year.
Yeah, you don't carry coins.
I do.
All right.
When I get
Are
my
they of
change,
all the same year?
If they're not of all the same year, I'm like, I don't want my change.
Can you make change for $10? Okay, so the android runs off the cliff. They check. They believe he's dead. He's kind of just deactivated. He's an android, but they don't know that yet. Then they head up. They go into town. They find the town. And they're looking for people. There's no people. So the doctor gets up in the town square, yells, there's no people. Eventually they go into the pub, and up pulls a lorry, a truck.
I don't think we've ever been this close in a podcast before.
I don't think so. All right. So they pull up in a lorry, in a truck, and the truck's really cool. It's not the back that pulls down; it's the side that pulls down. I mean,
it looks like the back pulls down too. It's like a 3-sectional bed where like every side.
But it's really cool. The side pulls down,
Just pull down
and then
the side.
all these people get out of the truck in a daze.
It's very Wrinkle in Time where they're all in sync. And have you read The Wrinkle in Time?
I've read the book. I have not seen the movie.
Remember the scene where she walks into the town and all the kids are bouncing the basketball in perfect unison, and then they all stop at the same time and they all walk back inside. It's kind of like that. It's eerie.
I read the book 40 years ago. I do not remember any particular scene.
They wrote a book and then made a movie and then made a movie and then I think they made a movie.
The latest one's supposed to be really bad.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey or whatever.
I think she plays my favorite character in the book.
I don't know.
Is that the one that turns into the Minotaur?
I have no idea. It's been 40 years.
Do you say Minotaur or Minotaur?
Minotaur.
You're a tar.
Okay.
Minotaur.
Anyway. Okay, so they go into the town.
You know people who analyze handwriting? You think you can do that with people's language, like how they pronounce things? They're like, he said Minotaur. Is he possessive? Or... Yeah, you've seen those videos where they're like, the tail on his T is very short. That means he's self-conscious.
Oh, yeah.
They analyze handwriting. They wouldn't know what to do with my handwriting. They'd be like, I don't think this man's right in the head.
All right. We don't have a backup battery. Let's actually get through this.
Oh,
we have some things about Vegas to talk about, too.
Target?
All right.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what? Some of the restaurants we ate at that were really
Let's
good.
talk about Vegas.
Like Yardbirds.
Went to a Magic the Gathering.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let's get through the podcast. Ancillary things
up?
aside, let's get through the podcast.
Ancillary?
Yeah, that's what I said. Ancillary.
Ancillary. I think I pronounced that one different. I'd have to look at the spelling.
Okay. Anyway, so they get to the village. They get caught in the pub.
Had her put my phone in the safe so I can't look things up.
Yeah, both our phones are in the safe in the room. Yay. So they get caught in the pub. All these people, they turn out they're animals, but these people walk in. And they take up very specific positions. And then the clock chimes 12 noon. And on the very last chime, all these people are standing absolutely still, become animated. And
they'll proceed as normal.
Right, like normal people would.
Conversations.
The doctor's like, this is strange. I need to get to the Space Defense Initiative, because
Sarah Jane Smith.
Because hey, Sarah Jane, you go back to the TARDIS, see what you can find out there. Here's the key, and they're still using the Pertwee key, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go talk to the scientists.
How long does that stick around?
I think this is the last season. So this is the second season of Baker. I think it was for 3 seasons.
Hartnell used to have the ring that would open the TARDIS.
Once. He did that once.
But you feel like it has a metabolism detector, so you think you wouldn't need a key.
I think it's some sort of emergency backup MacGuffin they used the whole one time. Now, if there was a callback to it modernly, that would be kind of cool, actually.
I like Hartnell's rings. I think he had a lot of style. I miss his outfit design. Wardrobe. What do you call that?
Wardrobe.
Yeah.
Outfit, costume, whatever. Yeah.
They have a specific term for it in cinema. Something design. Costume design.
Yeah. All right.
Bless you. He's been practicing the trumpet all weekend. He's getting pretty good at it.
Bit of a runny nose, pardon me. I think it might be the climate.
Better go catch it.
I don't know. All right. So anyway, the doctor ends up going to the unit headquarters, CGI, or SDI, Space Defense
Sexually
Initiative, or whatever it is.
transmitted infection.
No.
Oh.
All right. Sarah Jane gets caught eavesdropping on the locals. They pull it out, and she's like, "Hey, remember me? I was here 2 years ago." And the innkeeper, he kind of looks at it. They're all pretty blank stone face because they're androids. They're just mimicking emotion and reality. And he says, "I think you better go, miss," because the other people wanted to injure her or throw her out because they don't reckon the strangers there. She manages to get away, and that's when she heads back to the TARDIS. She gets to the TARDIS, and she inserts the key, and then is distracted by this pod. This turns out to be a bad mistake.
Leaves the key in the TARDIS.
Door. Don't never do that.
The pod was like this elongated lump of coal-looking, man-sized
Raisin, maybe? Prune?
is black, like coal.
Yeah, but it was this weird shape.
Lumpy.
So, the TARDIS disappears on her. She doesn't notice. And then she goes looking at this pod. It's kind of reminiscent of the pods from...
Cybermen?
No, Spearhead from Space. Where we saw the Autons. And a bit reminiscent of the pods that the Cybermen used to invade...
Cybermen? No.
The Cybermen...
And the Cybermen.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. The Cybermen used to invade the colony in space.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're thinking... I mean, I haven't seen this forever. So we're thinking, okay, maybe it's Cybermen. Maybe it's Autons. We've seen some Auton stuff. I'd forgotten who the bad guy was. But a hand comes out of the pod, grabs Sarah Jane, and then starts to choke her. You know, a man sits up, starts to choke her.
Which is
and
like
that's where the episode ends.
100th time Sarah Jane Smith has been being choked on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, she is the...
She almost falls off a cliff. She gets strangled. Continues to have a bad time during these cycles.
Yeah, she, despite being the quintessential, incredibly capable, incredibly smart, I am woman, hear me roar woman, she still manages to end up in peril a lot.
I feel like the script writers, they don't know how else to like add conflict to the script other than like the whole damsel in distress thing. So here's this really cool, capable character that we like a lot, but then they don't know how to, you know, make things, you know, edge of your seat. So they have her being clumsy, knocking jars off tables by accident.
Right. But to be fair, while she has an incredible mind, she's incredibly slight of body. I can't see her doing kung fu and knocking people out. She is a very small woman. She may be 90, 95 pounds. So her being in peril a lot physically makes sense. It wouldn't be done today, but it still physically makes sense, you know?
I was saying more like the clumsiness stuff, like
her knocking over the jar and almost getting caught in the pub.
I mean, she's an investigative reporter. She's supposed to be used to being kind of stealthy. And
to be fair, she's still incredibly young. She looks like 22, 23, and she's still a little green, you know, behind the ears.
You might want to check your earrings.
No.
You know,
it's called greenhorn.
Real gold if they're green thumb.
Pardon me, greenhorn, wet behind the ears. She's still a bit new. Anyway, so that's
wet
where
behind the ear? I think you had the first time.
Greenhorn.
I think it is green behind the ear.
No. Greenhorn, wet behind the ears.
Why would you be wet behind the ears? Someone gave you a wet willy?
No, that's just the expression, wet behind the ears, because you don't know well enough to dry behind your ears.
Wash back.
Wet behind the ears is an old-time expression for a novice.
We are a different generation.
We are.
You know
more than twice as old as you
You
are.
know my generation's term for a novice?
What?
Freaking noob.
Okay, I know that term. I've been around enough to know that term, but no, she's a greenhorn. She's wet behind the ears. That's okay. So here you go. Translation for in case we get old people or young
And
people watching
millennials.
this. Yeah.
Gen Z. Gen X.
So anyway, there's probably people in their teens laughing at your statements.
I don't think anyone's watching.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Mostly because we haven't uploaded it yet, but
I'll do that tomorrow or Tuesday.
say Tuesday. See you Wednesday.
Today is Sunday. Because we're leaving tomorrow on Monday. So do this on site. We had to do it on Sundays.
The airplane's
It's a rare off Monday.
So the airplane's a little cramped to film a podcast.
Yeah.
So
All
we
right.
did it today.
Turbulence crashes. All right. Anyway, so
I was on the airplane for the first time. I've never been on an airplane.
yeah, he flew here to Las Vegas from Lubbock for the very first time. His first flight.
Now I get why people are terrified of airplanes.
Not terrified. They just don't like the cramped conditions of the masks.
It is very cramped.
Yeah.
TV did not prepare me for this airplane.
Yeah. All right.
Every airplane ride I saw on television, it's very quiet, so you can hear everyone talking.
And there's
a lot of space. People are walking up and down aisles.
That's back from the 70s. It's not that way today.
Man. Penny pinching.
It's true, but
we don't get anything as consumers.
Yeah. I mean,
prices go up, quality goes down. Something's wrong. Someone's not doing their job.
Anyway, so Sarah Jane manages to get away in episode 2. She ends up running. She gets back to town. At the same time, the doctor has managed to make it to the Space Defense Initiative place, right? And he comes and he's like looking around, and he's looking for the brigadier.
Goes into his office.
Yeah, well, he passes a guard. Guard just stands there, looks at him slowly. So the whole android thing's coming out. And then the doctor says, I won't bother you. And he goes to the brigadier's office. But the brigadier's not there. And there's this guy there. What's his name?
What's...
The astronaut dude.
What's your...
Crawford.
What's your... I was going to ask Siri. Hey, Alexa.
Crayford. Guy Crayford.
And Doctor Who, serial...
No, hey, stop
84.
that.
What's the name of the character with that?
There's a Siri or whatever in this room. No, stop it. All right, so Crayford, Guy Crayford, is in there. He's got an eye patch over his... Stop.
Hey,
Stop that. All right.
I was going to make her play a TARDIS noise.
No. Remember copyright issues?
Huh.
All right.
I don't remember those.
Yeah. You should remember copyright issues. Okay.
What make you do so much editing?
No, we don't edit. All right. So he's got an eye patch on one eye, and he's played by the same actor who was in Genesis of the Daleks.
We think.
No, it's the same guy.
We think.
It's the same guy.
Pretty sure.
Who was just above the initial young commander the Doctor and Sarah Jane and Harry bumped into
when
they
went
into
the young
camp.
commander. Oh, no.
Yeah, he's the guy who's just above him.
Smarmy.
Smarmy, that's a good word for him.
Doesn't like getting ordered around by the science commander.
Division. Yeah, that's a good word for him. Anyway, same actor, which Doctor Who uses the same actors constantly.
Is that a heart at the bottom of my glass? Or a penis? Or a pear?
Definitely a heart. It almost looks like
it's not what hearts look like.
It looks a bit like the Rolling Stones. Stop that. Looks a bit like the Rolling Stones cover with the tongue sticking out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Plot. Okay. So the Doctor says, "You're not the Brigadier. Who are you?" And he says, I'm Crayford. And he said, "Well, I was the lead astronaut." So he pulls a gun on the Doctor. The Doctor says, "Well, wait a minute." He flips the table, literally the desk, on Crayford and runs away. He gets away. He runs down the corridor. He gets chased by people. He runs up a ladder to the roof. He's being shot at by people on the ground, and he's continuing to run away. He's being shot at by somebody on the roof when that guy gets up there, who turns out to be the same guy we thought we saw die earlier. But, of course, we haven't found out their android yet. And then the doctor jumps off the two-story roof, lands on the ground just fine, but then he's captured because he's surrounded. In the meantime, Sarah Jane saw this because she had made her way out of the village, lost the TARDIS, and then went to the science center, and she saw it. So, the doctor is imprisoned in a detention center until they can verify that he's a scientific advisor. Because he said, hey, I'm the unpaid scientific advisor for units. And so he's like, well, we're going to double check that. So he gets put in this detention center, and there's 3 bolts on it. Sarah Jane comes, and she sneaks in, and she's like, hey, I'm going to rescue you for once instead of you rescuing me. And she undoes the bolts. But as she's doing that, one gets stuck, and we see a little hatch open, and an eye peer through. And we still haven't guessed the bad guys, and it looks like a Sontaran. So we're like, okay, Sontarans. Turns out it's not a Sontaran. It turns out to be a Crowl. And apparently this is a weird race that looks kind of like hunchback rock face monsters who dress, it appears, in what looks like medieval samurai clothing. You know, it's a really weird race, and I don't believe we ever see them again, like ever. So anyway, Sarah Jane finally gets the doctor out. And this is when they get chased down in the woods, but Sarah Jane twists her ankle. She gets put in the tree. The doctor hides in the water. Sarah Jane gets captured. She gets brought back. And they decide to tap her mind, to take all of her knowledge and put it in the Krull database. And what they're able to do is they're able to make an android of her that way. So this android can then trick the doctor. Earlier in the episode, the doctor was drinking butter beer, which turned out to be like a butter soda pop or something.
Scotch?
No. It's more like a soda, not actually beer. Oh, and you were going to ask if the doctor does ever drink alcohol in Doctor Who.
This is the first time we saw him with a...
But it's not actual beer. It's more like a pop. But
you're thinking of the Harry Potter butter beer. He called it something else. It was a something beer. I don't think he used butter.
Double check.
I didn't write it down.
Okay. But anyway, no, I think in the...
Yeah, I saw him order a beer. It turns out it's like a root beer or something.
Yeah.
But does the doctor ever drink alcohol?
I would guess it's a bit like our...
Abstain?
Wait, I guess it would be a bit more like our... what's it? Vanilla something?
Root beer?
No. It's like root beer, but it's something different. French vanilla.
Have you ever?
Sarsaparilla. I think it's a bit like our sarsaparilla.
Is sarsaparilla real?
Yeah.
I thought that was the made-up soda for Fallout.
No, sarsaparilla's real.
But there's not like a soda called sarsaparilla.
No, it's a drink type.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the one in Fallout called?
I don't know. I don't do Fallout.
You don't? I think you'd like it. It's a good RPG. You like the earlier ones anyway, like Vegas 2, 3.
Right. So anyway.
Ooh, this is why I need ice.
Go get ice. Go get ice.
I don't want to.
Dude, you loaded that drink up, and you don't usually drink the hard liquor.
I do, just not at your house. Because I have to drive home after we finish the podcast.
Yeah, it's bed's right here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I drink this at home.
Oh, it's vanilla something. It's... Vanilla cream or
We
something?
really cover the important parts of the plot.
Alright, anyway, vanilla cream, cream vanilla, whatever.
All the minutia.
Anyway, so, we do see the Doctor, I believe, drink once before.
You know those people that are obsessed with like conspiracy theories and like Easter eggs, and the way they watch movies is by every single frame. They move forward one frame and study every part of it, and they move from that. That's basically how we talk about Doctor Who.
Hey, write down the episode Blink.
Blink.
Yeah, Easter eggs
with,
come into play.
That's the one with the Weeping
Angels. Yeah, but Easter eggs come into play.
Okay.
Alright, you don't have a pen?
I don't have.
We'll get a pen.
I'll make a mental note of it.
No, you're not going to remember any mental
Like
note.
an elephant.
You mean this big?
Almost.
And gray?
And not yet.
Alright.
I find some gray hair. It's not so much gray as just like dark white hairs I'll find in my beard or my nose.
Oh, I already know.
I get white hairs in my nose. I have a hairy nose. I have a second mustache coming out my... Oh man, I wish I should have shaved. I am very scraggly.
Okay, where the hell
It's
were
been
we?
a weekend. We're talking about sarsaparilla.
Okay, no. Before that.
Oh
yeah. Oh, the Doctor
Around the
does drink once before.
Episode.
In the Daleks Master Plan episode, The Feast of Stephen, where he raises a glass to the audience and says, "Merry Christmas to you all."
That was alcohol?
It looked like a champagne glass or a wine glass.
Oh.
And it's
It makes
traditional
sense
to
that Hart
drink
Noel
wine
would
or
be the
champagne on
doctor that
Halloween.
drink. I think... Can you drink in children's shows? Use of alcohol puts it up to like a teen rating. Or
No,
something.
this is in America maybe, not in Europe.
Maybe it changed and that's why we don't see the Doctor drinking anymore. Because I think even in Europe... Well, not in like France and Italy, Europe, but...
I'm trying to think of a modern episode where the Doctor like imbibes any decent amount, and I'm not coming up with much. But it doesn't mean he doesn't drink. It just means we don't necessarily see it, and or
I don't drink either. This is root beer.
Balderdash. Okay.
Sarsaparilla.
All right. Anyway.
Would you ever do Drunk Doctor Who with a sober person?
No, that's why we have.
Like when I
heroes and
regenerate,
villains.
like I regenerate as a co-host, and then someone replaces me, like Chris, who doesn't drink.
Chris drinks, just not a lot.
No,
It only takes 2 drinks to make a drunk.
you probably wouldn't drink every week.
All right.
So when I move to Mars or something, who am I regenerating into?
I don't know. Siskel and Ebert kept picking different dudes.
I'll
They replaced Curly twice.
still watch the live streams. I'm going to Mars, by the way.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Anyway.
I just want to know who my replacement is.
I don't know we could replace you. So don't go to Mars. All right.
Who's my upgrade?
All right. Enough.
I'll get ice out.
Go get ice. I'm going to actually advance the plot.
You're going to talk about butterbeer for another half hour.
No. All right. Anyway. So, the Doctor and Sarah Jane escape. Hello.
Hold back.
They send a Sarah Jane android clone to trick the Doctor. But she ends up liking the butterbeer or whatever it is. It's called something beer. Anyway, she ends up liking it, and earlier she said she hated it. Also, the Doctor had used her scarf earlier, but this Sarah Jane had a scarf. So the Doctor noticed. And they're running around in the woods, and she pulls a gun on him when he says, "Hey, you're not Sarah Jane." And she goes, "How do you know?" "Well, I've got Sarah Jane's scarf, but you have a scarf, so you're not Sarah Jane." And she attempts to shoot him, but he uses his very long arms, knocks the gun away, and pretty much sidelines her. Not as a slap, just hitting her arm, and she kind of twists. She lands on the ground and exposes her face, and it's an android face. It's one of the most disturbing and best cliffhangers in Doctor Who, when this person that, if you haven't seen it before, probably knew or believes was Sarah Jane, and turns out to be an android, the face comes off, and it's disturbing. And they're in this episode 2. The Doctor runs away. Sarah Jane sits up and left-handedly, of all things, fires the gun at him. I don't think she's a lefty, but maybe that was the hand closest to the gun to pick up and fire. The Doctor gets away. Eventually, he manages to make it back to the complex. And let's see, he's trying to stop the crawl, which, he's barely found out that that's who's doing it. And he's like, oh, I'm stupid. I should realize that, because the only planet with that much radiation, and my radiation counter went off. Well, he thought it was an energy pulse or an energy source, but it turns out it was radiation, which I guess can be an energy pulse or an energy source. So, the Doctor and Sarah Jane get captured. They get put in the detention center. And our astronaut, who's still human, goes to talk to them. He says, look, I know what I'm doing. We're going to help. We're going to go to the Earth. The Krell are going to live in the Northern Hemisphere, the humans in the Southern Hemisphere. But as it turns out, we've already seen the Krell have a virus that will wipe out all the humans. Wonderfully fitting for these days. And it'll only take 3 weeks. And they handle it with great care. So the Doctor and Sarah Jane bump into the fake android Benton and the fake android Harry Sullivan. They're taken aback by this, of course. Like I said, they get thrown in the brig, and then they are like, well, wait a minute, we need to try to escape. And our astronaut, the commander guy is like, well, we're going to kill him. And the astronaut's like, no, wait. Scan his brain. His knowledge is immense, and you can use it. And the guy's like, oh, so be it, So they proceed to scan the Doctor's brain. They drag him out of the brig of this cave. And the Doctor's like, hey, Sarah Jane, save the water. It's a great conductor, because they found this electrical panel. And the water was poisoned. Sarah Jane was supposed to be the first victim of this virus. They were doing an actual test on her, which is why they kept her alive and didn't kill her. Come in. We have doorbells in the hotel room. Anyway. Maybe he doesn't have his key? Pardon me for a second. Did you forget your key?
I guess. I brought my wallet, but my key wasn't in it.
Alright.
Did we pause the podcast?
I was making sure it wasn't Shannon and Levi. Okay, so the astronaut guy's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. It's all good. And Sarah Jane, rather than drinking the water and becoming the first victim of this plague, she's going to use it as a conductor. So the guard comes back, the same guard they saw die, but he's an android, so they keep remaking him. He comes in, and she uses her scarf,
and her
which he gave her back. To
Scarf?
electrocute him. No, to electrocute him
Not the
with
scarf.
that power circuit.
She lit her scarf on fire with the.
Right. Right, but she uses the water as a conductor to electrocute him.
You said scarf.
The scarf was to ignite it.
She ignited the scarf so it makes smoke coming out the grate in the bottom of the door.
Right, and
so
then he came
come
in, and then he gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
And he dies again, but he's just an android, so he's just decommissioned. So we still have yet to have any actual
I wrote
deaths.
that down as a squiggly death.
A squiggly death.
Yeah.
All right.
So he doesn't get electrocuted with the scarf, though.
So the evil scientist Crawl is draining the doctor's mind. He's like, well, I can't stick around, but I'm going to tell you all my plans, Mr. Bond.
Crawl is the species. His name is Stigrand.
No, that's the main guy, isn't it?
Oh. The other guy is named
Chidaki. All right. So Chidaki, the scientist, tells the doctor all their plans, of course, because, I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. And
no, my plan is this. And
right.
I'm doing this.
So,
question.
But you're going to die in 8 minutes because it's going to fry your brain. He leaves. And he's like, by the way, we're getting in the rocket because it's the only way out of here. And this whole planet's basically going to die.
Do we ever see the Crawls again?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. I kind of liked them. They had
I believe they were one shot.
Weird rhinoceros kind of looking faces.
No.
Very droopy, a lot of loose skin.
They're more like rock. Trust me, we get rhinoceri later.
Who's Rock?
No, rock kind of face.
It's funny you should say that because I thought the same thing about their technology in the spaceship. How was it people with the massage controls?
Zygons.
How Zygons are organic in terms of like bionic controls. The Crawls are organic in terms of like everything looks like it's just been hewn from rock.
Right.
And nothing's polished. It's real granity.
Right, but it looks like they stole
looking.
the Zygons' controls.
Right, yeah.
All right. So anyway, Sarah Jane frees the doctor before his mind fries. They run back to the spaceship that's about to take off, the astronaut spaceship. In the meantime, of course, they figured out this is not Earth. This is the Krull homeworld. And it's about to be destroyed. So the Krull are trying to create a new world which to live by killing all the humans on Earth. The spaceship takes off. They're facing a horrible G-force. They open some of the pods, and he pushes Sarah Jane in. And, it looks like people are pulling her face to stimulate
It's a
G-force.
real close-up of her face, so you can't see the sides, but her cheeks are getting pulled apart.
And that's where episode 3 ends. This moves at a fast clip. Episode 4, the doctor's waking up Sarah Jane, and she's like, I must have blacked out. And he's like, well, yeah, G-force. And the doctor's like, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to get to Earth. The only way to get to Earth is to get in these pods. But we are likely to either burn up on the atmosphere, or run out of air, or because the pods are designed for androids, like you get a jolt, we can't survive. And Sergio's like, great, that's your plan? He's like, well, if you can come up with a better one, let me know. You're running out of room in that glass.
Did you talk about the other doctor peeping out at him?
No, that just happened. Hey, stop. You're running out of room in that glass. It's going to spill over.
Perfect.
Be very careful with that. All right.
Maybe one.
No. You ever heard the straw that broke the camel's back?
Perfect.
You have water tension at the top of that. This is a bad idea.
Maybe one. Last one.
All right.
All good.
Okay. So anyway, an evil doctor kind of peers out of one of the pods while the good doctor's telling the Sarah, that's what you have to do when you fulfill it. The bad guy astronaut's like, well, no, I've been talking to Earth. They know I'm coming back. I talked to them about my water recycling. I talked to them about my food rationing. They're expecting me and stuff. And so then we cut to the same SDI on Earth. And
sexually transmitted infection.
No. And
what does SDI stand for?
Space Defense Initiative, I think.
Oh, D. You're saying D.
D. SDI. Sam Dog
SDI.
Indigo.
Can you do the whole alphabet?
No.
Oh.
I know a few, but not all of them.
Getting really good at that trumpet.
Mm.
You okay?
Yeah, it's just either allergies or staying up too much or having to wear the mask all weekend.
Do you want a vitamin C?
I'm good. Alright. I'll probably take an airborne when I get home. I like that stuff. Alright, so anyway, the Doctor and Sarah Jane get shot down in pods because as the spaceship's coming in, and it's coming in pretty much on a perfect trajectory, there are all these other objects. And the one guy's like, hey, wait a minute.
Some reason.
The one guy's like, Faraday's like, well, they're meteorites. He says, no, they're slowing down. They slow down, they stop, they land in these pods. The Doctor gets out.
Perfectly horizontal, which you'd think they'd be like ODS drop ships, like.
Well, apparently they had some
straight.
reverse thrusters in them. The
Yeah,
Doctor
but
was
apparently
concerned about
that makes them land like this.
I don't know.
There's no craters, so they land very
Right.
soft. But
So we have the Doctor and the evil Doctor. We have Sarah Jane and the evil Sarah Jane.
and then Harry Sullivan and the evil Harry Sullivan, and Benton and the evil Benton. And
Right, Faraday and the evil Faraday. So anyway, invasion of the body snatchers. The Doctor tries to warn the command post. He's too late. Benton and Faraday have been taken out, as well as several other people, including our same guy who's been killed a couple times as an android. And they've been replaced by the androids. So by the time the Doctor gets there and warns them, it's too late. He's facing the pod people.
did you talk about the brain zapping machine?
Briefly.
That's
Yeah.
how they could duplicate all these people, because they
Right,
zap the mind of.
Right, they get
Crayford.
the information, yeah.
Yeah, and then they zap the Doctor, and the Doctor was trying to protect the knowledge of the Time Lords, so he's really wrapped up in reciting like nursery rhymes and riddles.
No. He was zapped and he was very disoriented when he came to, and so he starts to go into a story.
I think I disagree, because this is something we've seen as like a recurring trope where
You fell
people
asleep.
are trying to.
Right, that happened
They're trying
previously.
to several times. Yeah, they're trying to infiltrate the mind of the Doctor, and some machines it's really easy for him to thwart, but some machines are a genuine concern that they're going to read his thoughts and his knowledge and unlock the secrets to time travel, which happened with at one point.
But that
So
happened.
how he does that is he tries to cloud the machines with other thoughts and other useless information. So he goes into like nursery rhymes and riddles. So I think that's what he was doing. He was disoriented when Sarah Jane Smith brought him out of it, because he's still going and he didn't quite snap out of the shock of it, because it felt like he was genuinely struggling to keep the information from them.
No.
But it didn't work.
None of that is shown whatsoever. He is disoriented at the end and he goes into a story.
I feel like
But-
it's safe to assume that's what happened.
No. But you're assuming things that happen in other serials. It did not happen here. This is when you
Also-
fell asleep.
I mean, it's his defense mechanism that we've seen several times before.
The machine was too much for him. It shows him in agony. Giving up everything. Alright. Anyway.
Also, Time Lords breathe through their buttholes.
No.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyway, so the Doctor gets there. It turns out all the good guys are pod people. And he tells, before then, the spaceship's landed and they're going up to it. And the Doctor says, don't go up to it. Come back down. They bring it back down. Harry Sullivan and Faraday are on it. And unfortunately at this point they're already the androids. And Faraday's like, well, why did you do this? He says, well, because if you go up there, your lives will be in danger.
You kind of get the sense that over the intercom, where he's telling Harry Sullivan to don't go into the spaceship, that he's already the android at that point.
Yeah.
Because Harry Sullivan historically is a very, he listens to the Doctor. He trusts his opinion.
Subservient.
Yeah, but over that's a harsh word, I think, for one.
No.
Respective.
He listens and obeys. He's respectful of the Doctor.
He respects the the wisdom of that. So anyway, over the intercom, he's very like, oh, that's hogwash. There's nothing wrong with the spaceship. And
No,
why
that was
should we...
Faraday.
Are you sure? It sounded
Yes.
like Harry.
No. Harry says we better listen to the doctor.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
So the doctor gets the technician at the defense center to rig a bunch of circuits that would point the satellite dish, not up in space, where it could beam down on the ground, which would destroy all electronics in the area. The doctor ends up escaping, then coming back because he's escaped, so they don't assume he's him. They assume he's the evil doctor. He manages to get in past the evil Benton.
Sort of method to prevent that.
Well, tag 1 or tag 2.
I like when he first walks in and he goes, "Have you seen me today yet?"
Yeah, well,
tell me immediately if you do. I'll be.
I'll be in here. But that goes back to the sense rights. The only way they could tell themselves apart was with the sashes. Yeah. So the doctor fights the evil doctor. The good technician has set everything up. They have a duel-out fight, and you can easily tell on modern TVs. It's kind of a stout double facing them. Both
I still thought it was pretty good. I think it held up.
It was.
I don't have a keen eye for like stunt doubles. Like, everyone complains about like fake babies being cradled and stuff. I can never tell the difference. You can kind of tell it's a wig, but only on the 4K TV.
Yeah, well, I think it's an HD. I don't think it's 4K.
This TV?
Yeah, I think it's HD. I don't think it's 4K.
Oh.
Anyway, so the doctor manages to hit the switch, turns off all the robots. In the meantime...
Can you read cursive? What does that say? Who can read cursive?
I can read cursive.
It's like Latin. It's a dead language.
No, but I can't read that.
Because the problem with cursive is it's shorthand. Only people that write cursive, why would the dash be on the bottom? That's like a T.
It's an underline.
Oh. That doesn't make sense. The problem with cursive is that it's morphed into shorthand to where only people can read their own cursive handwriting. It's not universal anymore.
No.
Print.
I disagree. All right. Anyway,
you're thinking of like when people sign the Declaration of Independence. That's very standardized cursive. Everyone can read that. Modern day cursive is morphed into everyone just kind of does their own thing.
No, my mother-in-law has fantastic cursive handwriting.
Well, I'm sure she does.
She's 79 or 78.
She's a previous generation where cursive was the norm. But I'm saying modern day cursive.
What does it have to do with Doctor Who?
Is illegible.
Nothing.
Give me 5 degrees and I'll get there.
Okay, so Sarah Jane gets up to the rocket. Sarah Jane's trying to save the actual Harry and the actual Faraday because they're in the rocket. She unties them at the same time. Our Dr. Chidaki comes out, and he comes out, and he's like, I have enough in here to destroy the entire human race in this glass. He can't believe she's alive. She's supposed to die to it. But she never drank the water.
In your hand, a vial that contained a virus that would wipe out an entire species, would you break it?
Yeah, yes I would. To hold that power. Genesis of the Daleks.
It would be to be a god.
Yeah. So anyway, the doctor shows up. The doctor fights Chidaki. The doctor gets shot at the same time Chidaki falls and breaks the vial, and his whole head is eaten up by the amoeba acid or whatever.
It was pretty gruesome.
It was. But like our second real death, because Chidaki just before then shot the astronaut. He's like, you betrayed me, Crayford, and he shoots him.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I got a Kleenex tissue here for you if you like.
No. So we have our first death, human, with Crayford. And then we turn around and have our second death, who's a crawl, with Chidaki. And amazingly, we got to episode 4 without a real death, just androids resetting.
The engineering behind the coaster is just... It's a hard cardboard to stop the leak through, but then it has like a Kleenex tissue on top to keep it from suctioning to the surface with the water tension.
Welcome to our freeform poetry evening.
Poetry? What?
No. All right. So
it's
anyway,
just a cool...
the doctor gets shot and he falls down, but then he changes into an android. Turned out the doctor had programmed the android to be attack Chedekai.
You turn it upside down and you wipe up any water rings at the clinic. That's a great coaster. Why aren't all coasters like this?
You just want me to take 3 days to render this video.
A personal pet peeve of mine is when coasters stick to the bottom of the glass because the water tension, they don't have any sort of... It's not like corkboard. It doesn't have any air holes to...
Right.
Like the plexiglass coasters, and you pick up a drink and the coaster comes with it and then it drops off.
Yeah, I don't care for that either. I prefer cork. All right.
I think every glass should be designed with anti-cup holder airways, like the restaurant cups. You notice how every plastic restaurant cup has gaps in the bottom so it doesn't stick to the plastic tables?
No, but okay.
Not every restaurant cup, but you go to Furs, CC's.
Okay, welcome to the jazz riff portion of the evening. All right, so...
You're playing the trumpet.
I'm blowing my nose. All right, so the doctor, everything's concluded. The Kralls are dead. They wiped out the androids. So the doctor and Sarah Jane are heading in the woods, and Sarah Jane says, no, I'm going home. I'm going to take a taxi. And the doctor's like, well, I'll give you a lift. Sarah Jane's like, how can I refuse? And they
Which
go,
she definitely should. Why would
yeah.
Why? She knows she's going to end up on Mars somewhere, and then her life, she's going to get strangled and fall off a cliff again. Why? At one point, she was actually being rational and being like, this is crazy. I almost die every week. I gotta get home. And then all of a sudden, she's like, oh, yeah, I'll go on another adventure.
Remember when Harry Sullivan was given the chance, he said, no, doctor, thank you, I'm staying here.
We felt like she was at that point, like a couple of...
and she capitulates.
Serials? Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm done with this. You can't pilot the
doctor
TARDIS.
Has a great smile.
I want to go home. He does. Baker has a great smile.
End of episode 4.
I might get on the TARDIS with Baker.
The bad guys are defeated. We had Sarah Jane, Harry Sullivan, and Sergeant Menton as companions. What questions do you have for me? Probably not many. You fell asleep.
What is the doctor drinking? Did you ever think of the name of that beer?
I mean, I still think it's something like butterbeer.
So the TARDIS is overdue for a 500-year maintenance. So
overhaul, yeah.
It's missing its oil change,
yeah.
Which is an explanation for why the TARDIS never takes the Doctor to where he wants to go.
But
does the Doctor ever get the TARDIS oil change?
Okay.
And is that supposed to keep it?
He parks the TARDIS on a rift in order to refuel it, even though the Eye of Harmony should never need refueling.
So what? I'm sure there are parts that need refueling. There's a ton of parts in the TARDIS. There's always all sorts of different circuitry that needs like mercury or something that needs fiddling.
He lied about the mercury, remember?
Oh yeah.
All right. No, that was the fluid link, and he lied about it to get into the city of Daleks to see it. Yeah. No, the TARDIS...
Which means the Doctor's a bad person for putting innocent people lies. In danger. It has there are consequences to your actions. The Doctor lies. He intentionally lied to put these innocent people in danger, which he basically hijacked into.
Okay. No, the Doctor lies. We know that.
The Doctor's a bad person.
No, the Doctor saves the universe on a regular basis.
The Doctor talks about having... He's the opposite of the ends justify the means. The means justify the ends, which means he's... No, he is the means justify the ends, because he's definitely willing to sacrifice his companions for...
You mean the ends justify the means?
Isn't that what I said? Well, at first I said it backwards because I thought that he was willing
No, you said it properly, then you said it backwards, and you said it backwards again.
He's both. He's willing to sacrifice everything for a couple of people, and then other times he's willing to sacrifice a couple of people for everything. He's very back and forth.
Wait till we get to Children of Earth.
Oh, boy.
Okay, anyway, so...
The Doctor has a bad memory. He said his memory's not like what it used to be 3,000 years ago, because he recognizes things about the Krall... 300. He recognized the Kralls, the Autons, or something.
The Kralls.
Yeah, And he's like, my memory's not what it used to be 300 years ago. I would have known it right off the top of my head, but who are these people? That means he's getting old as a Time Lord? Why is his memory bad?
He only gets older. All right,
but he's like middle age. Like, when you're 30, you don't have 50, you don't have...
He's on his 4th regeneration, so he's approaching middle age.
Approaching middle age.
Yeah, or you
his memory
you can claim he's
fine.
at the very beginning of middle age. He's if 12 regenerations, 13 doctors, the 4th Doctor would probably be at the very beginning of middle age.
Did we discuss on podcast the secret to staying young is new experiences?
No.
Oh, this is a long conversation we had. New experiences is an anti-aging process because your brain needs diffracting, and then if you get stuck in a loop, then your brain goes into autopilot, like in Click, the Adam Sandler movie, and you age real fast. And then, anyway, that's the secret to Time Lord staying young. Is why he always wants to go on adventures, because he's seeking new experiences so he can stay young. Time Lords notoriously have bad memories because they need to keep diaries, the 500-year journals, because they don't really retain knowledge, but not necessarily all their memories right off the bat for after regenerations.
Well, because they fill up their brains. Okay.
They have problems with...
Wait till we get to a Shilder. Me.
You're referencing all these podcasts.
I'm telling you, wait till we get to me.
Everything gets explained 5-10 years down the road.
Yeah. No, me has to keep journals to remember things because her brain gets filled up because she's human, but she lives forever.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Doctor. All right.
What if your brain was just filled with useless stuff, though?
Mine probably is, but yeah, I mean, Doctor Who trivia.
Could you be like a astrophysicist just from journals? You go, where did I write that one quadratic equation?
I don't know.
Because it doesn't actually fit in your head.
All right.
I don't know if it works that way.
All right. Next time, the Brain of Morbius. When we get into the next Philip Hinchcliffe.
Did we talk about the sonic screwdriver?
That was actually being used as a screwdriver.
Like a magnetic thing.
Yeah. Some screwdrivers.
It also cuts the steel vines, the plastic synthetic-like steel vines that he's bind with. It cuts through them.
Yeah.
Sonically? How does that work?
Don't ask questions.
Okay.
All right. So the Brain of Morbius next time. More of a Frankenstein thing and some fun controversy tying into the Timeless Child crap. So what did you think? Finish up Doctor Who. Today should have been the 4th episode of Series 13. Okay?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I don't have BBC America. I have to wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. I'll buy it and then I'll watch it. But it did air, and we have 2 more episodes, and then probably a New Year's and Easter, and a Centenary special, and then we'll be done with 13th Doctor. We'll go the 14th.
Centenary.
100-year anniversary.
100 years?
Of the BBC.
Oh.
BBC apparently started in 1912 as a radio broadcast.
I don't think centenary is the right word. Ooh, my ears are popping.
Alright, anyway.
We're 24 floors up. Your ears pop on the way up to the elevator?
Not usually.
Do you know how many floors are in this building?
Didn't count.
Well, it's weird. It splits into 2 separate.
Yeah, alright. What did you think of Vegas? What did you think of Yardbirds? We went and ate at Yardbirds.
So, in Avatar...
Avatar?
It's a children's show. It's an animated children's show on Nickelodeon.
And a crappy movie.
Oh yeah, terrible movie by M. Night Shyamalan. Absolutely butchered the source material. The animated series, it's a children's show, so they can't say things like murdered, killed. So when they allude to someone's death, they say things like, he's finished, it's time to finish him, and his history has been snuffed out. And
oh, you're talking about that episode 2 thing where he says the Doctor's story is about to end.
Yeah, it felt like Doctor Who was going through the same thing where it's a children's show, so the Doctor can't drink, so he gets butterbeer, and then they can't say murder or kill, so they allude to his death by saying his history is about to come to an end. But then I remember that they actually say died and killed and death a lot in the show, and then it's a lot more brutal. So I don't know. It just reminded me of Avatar, but I feel like this is a
to be fair,
Not a common thing.
To be fair, as a children's show, it was under a lot of pressure at the time from a woman's group,
Parents.
and one particular lady to make it not a children's show because there was a lot of death in the show, and that's happened a lot.
There is.
Yeah, and so there's
Crawl's face melted in this episode.
right. So there's literally a watershed moment that comes up where it turns from a children's show to a family show and gets past the watershed time, so that they can go ahead and show the violence and all that. It's reclassified to a family show, and it's coming up fairly quickly.
Can you believe the desensitization of the rating system? Like back in the day, like early 90s, late 80s? Late 80s, like Mortal Kombat and the Nintendo Entertainment System was rated M for mature because it was so controversial that it sparked the M rating for video games, I think. But we look at that now, and it's so pixelated and old school graphics that it's laughable that these little red pixels were considered extremely violent back in the day.
And now you have things like Grand Theft Auto.
Right, yeah. So I'd say if you try to make a 8-bit game today, it's impossible to make an 8-bit game with an M rating based on graphics and gore, because it's, the ratings team's going to look like at you pulling skulls out of people and like red pixels flying everywhere, and they're like, it's kind of funny. It's
that was the
cartoony
technology back then, yeah.
They're going to say that's a T rating. That's cartoony violence, and it's not going to be.
So what did you think of Yardbirds?
Oh, fantastic. Orgasmic. I had just come off the airplane. I was a little loopy because I took something for anxiety, and I forgot about it, so I had a few drinks. And I don't think you're supposed to mix alcohols with like anxiety medication, so I was feeling real good. And then we went to this incredible barbecue restaurant. We had you had the ribs, and I had the chicken.
Fried chicken.
The fried chicken. The ribs were amazing.
Yeah. The fried chicken was great. It's called Yardbirds. Fantastic.
I haven't eaten a lot of ribs in my life because I always thought they were overrated and expensive. But these ribs were totally worth it and amazing. But now they just entrenched myself in not eating ribs very often, because now every other rib I've tried this week has just been incredibly disappointing compared to those. And I don't know if it's because I was real loopy kind of, or they were actually just that good. So I'll have to try it again someday, hopefully. But they were really good.
It was delicious.
Oh, they're in Dallas, so I can't try them in my home state.
Right. They're here in Vegas, which is where Alyssa and I tried them first. They're in Dallas, and we've eaten there. They're also, I think, in D.C., Singapore?
Singapore?
I think so.
There's a Singapore in D.C.?
No. Singapore, the city-state.
Huh. What's the D.C. stand for?
District of Columbia.
Oh. What does the Singapore stand for?
It's the name. It stands for nothing. It may mean something, but it doesn't stand for anything. Anyway.
I feel like everything should be an acronym.
No.
There's this weird thing in coding where acronyms, the first letter of the acronym stands for the acronym.
What?
I'd explain it if I knew more about coding.
Okay.
So, like, for example, I'm going to make up an example because I can't remember the name of the program, so we'll call it... I can't think of an example.
All right, so next week, Brain of Morbius will be back in Lubbock, and hopefully in the future we will set up better off-site locations to see, like with views and stuff. If you like Patreon, great. If you don't. It's if you don't have money, don't do it. Just watch the videos anyway. We don't necessarily need the money. But it would be fun to be able to get some interesting alcohol and to go do the high roller and rent it out and do the video there,
Are we just talking about Yardbirds? You want to talk about the other restaurants?
I'm saying goodbye.
Oh.
All right. See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have fun. Goodbye.
And this is where you have to edit the video to cut into the intro, because it's real awkward when you say goodbye. And it still keeps rolling for like 10 seconds as we get up and roll the camera.
All right.
Got